When was the last time you walked out of a grocery store and thought, wow, that was cheaper than I expected? Probably never, and that feeling is not in your head. The news says inflation is under control, around 2.5 to 3%. Almost normal. So why does your bank account tell a completely different story? Here's the truth. The numbers aren't lying to you. But they're not telling you the whole story either. Today we're going to find out exactly what's missing. Every month, economists release something called the Consumer Price Index, or CPI. Think of it like a shopping list. A very carefully chosen list that tracks how prices change over time. The problem is, it's not your shopping list. It's a statistical average from thousands of different households. And averages hide what's actually happening at the extremes. Here's a simple example. 5 people sit at a table. For earn $30,000 a year, one earns $1 million. The average income at that table? $232,000. Does that describe anyone actually sitting there? Not even close. That's the same problem with inflation averages. When rent jumps 15%, but flat screen TVs drop 8%, the average looks calm. But if you need a roof over your head more than a new television, that average means nothing to your life. Now, let's talk about the biggest item in any household budget: housing. When statisticians calculate inflation, they don't look at what homes actually cost to buy. Instead, they use something called shelter cost equivalence, basically estimating what you could rent your home for. Estimat, not your mortgage, not your taxes, is what gets counted. So the single largest financial decision of your life is measured through a soft guess, not real numbers. And rental data lags by 6 months or more, quietly understating what renters are actually paying today. Meanwhile, mortgage interest rates don't appear in this calculation at all. 2 buyers, same house, same price. One pays nearly double the monthly cost because of interest rates. The inflation data won't show that. Your bank statement will. Here's another thing that catches people off guard. Inflation statistics adjust for quality improvements. If today's $800 laptop is 4 times faster than the one from 5 years ago, on paper, technology got cheaper. But here's what that statistic leaves out. Choice. The option to buy last year's version at last. Year's price simply disappears. Stores stop stocking it. Manufacturers stop making it. You didn't choose to upgrade. The market chose for you. And your wallet absorbed the difference. This applies to phones, laptops, appliances, vehicles, and now software. Tools you used to own permanently now charge you every single month just to keep access. Miss a payment, lose access. The ownership model is becoming extinct. Let's bring this to something you probably experienced this week. Fast food. For decades, it was the affordable fallback. A cheap meal when time and budget were both short. That social contract has quietly expired. A basic combo meal now runs $12 to $16 in most cities. That's sit-down lunch pricing. The cheap option didn't just get more expensive. It became a completely different product, and this pattern repeats everywhere. Budget airlines charge extra for carry-on bags, seat selection, even boarding passes. The base fare looks affordable. The total at checkout does not. Streaming services were supposed to replace expensive cable. Now, subscribing to several of them costs more than cable ever did. The individual price looks reasonable. The cost of participating in modern life does not. There's one more thing the official numbers struggle to measure, and it might be the most frustrating. Products getting quietly worse while prices stay the same or go up. Manufacturers learned long ago, shrink the chocolate bar slowly, raise the price slowly. No single change triggers outrage. But this has spread way beyond snack foods. Appliance quality has dropped as companies cut components to protect margins. Customer service has been automated and reduced, making it harder to solve even basic problems. Warranties are shorter, repair options are fewer. Replacement is now the default. An appliance that used to last 15 years now lasts 6 and costs more to replace. That's a massive hidden cost increase, but it never shows up in any price index. So what can you actually do about all of this? First, stop comparing your finances to the CPI. It was never designed to measure your life. Track your own spending categories month over month instead. Second, renegotiate more often than feels comfortable. Insurance, subscriptions, internet, phone plans, all priced assuming you won't ask for a better deal. Loyalty gets penalized. New customers get the discounts. Long-term customers absorb the increases. Call, compare, and switch when it makes sense. Third, think in total cost of ownership, not sticker price. A cheap appliance that dies in 4 years costs more than an expensive one that runs for 12. Fourth, your savings need to beat your personal inflation rate. If your costs are rising faster than your income, a low-interest account is a losing position. Here's the bottom line. The official inflation number isn't fake, but it was never meant to be a mirror of your personal financial reality. It measures an average, and you don't live an average life. The people feeling most financially squeezed right now aren't bad with money. They're living through a real gap between what the data shows and what life actually costs. Understanding that gap is the first step to doing something about it. If this opened your eyes, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want to learn exactly how to protect your purchasing power in an environment like this, follow for the next video. It's coming soon.